From dog tags to ownership, heroes take the lead. Stories of veterans building trains with passion, drive, and speed. From service to success, we're here to inspire the quest. Dog tags to ownership, we're the best. Take the prize.
Welcome back to Dog Tags to Ownership, where we share the journeys of military veterans and military-connected entrepreneurs who have turned their dog tags into ownership. July was an incredible month, Matt. It was filled with stories of resilience, innovation, and purpose. We heard from founders who are building companies, creating communities, and proving that service doesn't end when the uniform comes off. Today, we're going to get into our July recap, but don't forget to listen after we get through with our July recap, recapping episode 27 to 29, to hear our Forces Brands USA Business Spotlight of the Week. Forces Brands USA is the only online marketplace connecting Americans with military, veteran, and military-connected businesses. So let's get into July. Matt, how was your July?
Hard to believe that we are past the halfway point of 2026, but my July was great. I cannot complain. We went on a vacation this month, went back to Michigan, and had a big 4th of July 250 celebration. It's going well. Enjoying summer.
Yeah, you went back to the homeland, the motherland?
Yeah, the Lower Peninsula, northern end of the Lower Peninsula near Traverse City.
Yeah. So if you put your hand up, he's not a Youper, he's below the Youpers.
Right,
is that right?
Right there.
Right
You're
there.
watching it.
Yeah. Above the pinky. Or at the pinky. I mean, your July, though, has been crazy. You're working on, as you are right now, remodeling the townhouse, one of your rental properties that you're redoing. So we had 3 episodes come out in the month of July, and out of those 3, you only appeared on 2 of them because you're so busy with the remodel of the house that you're in. So
I appeared on the majority of the podcasts that we're going to recap. I'd like to say it that way.
Yes, you appeared on 2/3 of the 3 episodes. I guess I can give you a 4th because this is coming out in July. So I'll give you that one. And other big news for us in the month of July, we launched Forces Brands USA, which has been really cool. Thoughts on the launch of that?
Thoughts on the launch of Forces Brands? It happened.
It did.
It happened, right? And it was not perfect. And that's probably what's the word I'm looking for? More often the case than not. But again, it's about taking action, getting to a good enough product. Perfection is the enemy of good enough, and getting it launched and continuing to refine, build the plane in flight as we do so many times. I think if you build a perfect plane, you're still adjusting it after the fact anyway. So it's great though. It's there. It works. We have proof of concept, and companies, products are coming on the site. Podcasts are coming on the site. It's gaining momentum, and it'll continue to gain momentum as we continue to put ourselves behind it and make it successful.
Yeah, I just want to give you a shout out. I hardly ever do this, but I do want to give you a shout out on the launch of Forces Brands USA. I'm pretty sure 2 nights before we were about to really launch it, I was like, I don't know if we're ready. You're like, no, just do it. It's not going to be perfect. It's okay. It's going to work. All of that stuff. And I was like, okay, Matt's right. See, I even said that you're right on the podcast today. Man, you're getting all the compliments from me today, but you did. So because of you, we launched it when we did, and it's out there. And now we have some amazing businesses, services, and some podcasts on there. And we're always looking to build it. But like we've learned over the past 1.5 years now of doing dog tags to ownership, nothing goes as planned. Nothing really launches the way that you want it to. And that's what business ownership is about, is just figuring it out and building it and pivoting and making adjustments as you go. And we've been doing that with Forces Brands USA. So if you haven't checked it out, check out Forces Brands USA. It is the only online marketplace for military veteran owned and military connected businesses that has products, services, and podcasts. And we are super excited about it because it is another way for us to amplify the voices and the businesses of our community to the American public. I think that's what's been going on with us over the past month of July. Let's get into our recap with episode 27 with Tony Medrano. Tony kicked off the month of July for us. Tony is a serial entrepreneur. He was in the Navy after he graduated from Harvard, which there's not a lot of people that went to Harvard for undergrad, but Tony did it, had an ROTC scholarship and graduated from Harvard, came out of Harvard and was a surface warfare officer, was over in California, got out of the Navy knowing that he wanted to be an entrepreneur, and he is on his third tech startup business. And the one that he is currently doing is Longevity Plan AI, and it's to help with everyone's overall fitness, utilizing AI and also utilizing some of the other resources and things that are out there, such as peptides, to help folks to be healthier and physically fit through Longevity Plan AI and what they're doing. So what are your thoughts on Tony, Matt?
I think of Tony like Tony. Was it Tony Sparks? Is that
Yeah.
Iron Man? Right?
Yeah.
He's like the California guy, like you said, serial entrepreneur, successful businessman, and he's completed, I think, 3 Ironmans. Right? So it's kind of fitting. He's like the Iron Man character, comic character. So. Yeah, 55 years old and I think has completed 3 Ironmans. And with the help of peptides and some of the stuff he's developing, he has like the biological age of a 28-year-old. So pretty cool stuff. Just a great conversation. Talk about a high achiever as far as going to being a Stanford graduate, a Harvard graduate, leading several companies through growth and exit. One company that he started that was worth essentially nothing on paper and exited at, I think, $1 billion. And those were some of his fallback plans after he created companies. So just extremely unique individual with tons of value to share, insights, to share lessons learned. And again, it hasn't always been a smooth road for him. Experienced the whole, I think, .com bubble when he was out there in Silicon Valley. But again, kind of dusted himself off. And that might be his superpower, is his ability to go from one business or career to the next without dwelling on or focusing too much on that previous experience, whether that was an incredible experience or one that maybe really challenged him or wasn't what he expected, but his ability to kind of dust himself off and focus on the next endeavor, again, might be his superpower.
It was really interesting for him because he was out at Stanford, started his first tech startup business with 2 guys that he was in school with. It was like an app store type business that they were starting. And then from there moved on into chat AI before the boom of like ChatGPT and all that, was ahead of his time with that, and then got into a healthcare company as like a fallback thing. And then now with Longevity Plan AI, he is utilizing what he learned in the healthcare market, but then also the AI background that he had built himself with trying to do the chat AI prior to it really coming online. And so taking those 2 things and the backgrounds that he had in 2 different businesses, but bringing that together with what he's doing now, he's really the type of person that is like, okay, I think that this is going to work. I think this is an idea, and just runs with it. And the thing that stood out to me is technology should amplify people, not replace them. And that's what he's doing with Longevity Plan AI, is he's taking what he has and what he knows from the medical industry, but then also what can you utilize from AI and bring those 2 things together to help people's lives, to make them healthier as they move through life. So I think a great episode. And Tony is one of those people that if you want to get in entrepreneurship, he says reach out to him. He always is wanting to help veterans in their journey from turning their dog tags to ownership, and he's on LinkedIn, so reach out to him. All right, and then that brings us to episode 28 with Travis Partington. This is the episode that Matt was not there for. That was a Julie solo episode.
I think you guys did better without me on that particular episode. You guys had that bond from, I think, Military Creator Con.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Carried over to the episode. It was like two old friends talking.
It was. We had a blast. And the cool thing about Travis's episode is we got to help celebrate his 500th episode for Oscar Mite Radio that came out. So our episode with him, episode 28, dropped on that Tuesday, and his 500th episode dropped on that Thursday. And really, Travis, he is a unicorn in the podcasting world. Not a lot of people make it past, they say, 9 episodes, and he's made it to 500 episodes, which is roughly 10 years of podcasting, and just his ability to continue to connect with guests and the folks that he brings onto his podcast, it is one in a million. There's not a lot of people that can continue to do that. So hats off to Travis and what he's done with Oscar Mike Radio, but even more so now what he's doing moving forward and his next entrepreneurship journey with Dream Cards, his holiday cards that he's going to start producing for the holidays. And then also he has another podcast that he's about to launch as well, which is pretty cool that he's doing that. And then he's also doing a lot of voiceover stuff. So TV shows and reading books and poetry and things like that. So Travis is one of those people who sees something and wants to improve it. And that was evident in his holiday card business and his full upsetness over a card being made in China and the cost of that said card that made him create a Christmas card business. So pretty cool guy. Awesome. And he's also on Oscar Mike Radio, is on Forces Brands USA. So Matt, thoughts?
Yeah. No, it was a really good episode. Can relate. Every time I buy some type of Hallmark card and flip over and look at the price on it on the back, and I think he mentioned like $7 or $8, but I mean, it's not, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but there's times where I think it's $10 almost for a card that unfortunately usually ends up in the trash at some point. So very, very neat with what he's doing. Incredible achievement for him, eclipsing 500 episodes. And it was good to hear as a podcaster, if we can call ourselves that at this point, that the early episodes were maybe a little bit cringeworthy for him. And I think you and I can probably relate. But it was something that he felt fairly compelled to do. And he talked about a very specific episode that he was recording, the after interview portion and the feedback that he got from someone and how that really helped him, which was essentially, it's not really about him. It's about the guests that are coming on and the ability to get authentic stories, conversations from his guests and share things, personal things that they might not otherwise share or open up to. So and I think that's his gift in his podcast forum. But super easy to listen to. He's got the voice for radio and obviously with his voiceover work. And I think he did mention amongst the gift cards and voice work, also potentially putting a book together on his injury and path to health. So really enjoyable podcast. It was great to listen to and not beyond that particular one. You guys did a phenomenal job without me.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that. He's doing a podcast, and I think that might turn into a book as well. I know that somebody had told him he should write a book, and what he decided was to make it as a podcast, but could also become a book at some point. But I think just with Travis and his journey, your story isn't over. Your greatest impact may still be ahead. And that's what he's doing every single day. And another just plug for Travis is he will be down in Tampa with us when we're down there supporting the craft brewing and distilling event leading into Military Influencer Conference this year. So we will be down there podcasting together for craft and all the great brands and things that they're going to have. Super excited to see Travis and to podcast side by side with him and just continue our journey and helping our community and amplify those stories that are out there. So again, last time, congrats, Travis, on 500, and we are wishing you another 500 episodes in this journey. So, and then that brings us to episode 29 with Lee Stuckey. I wasn't sure how that episode was going to go. I'm just going to say that. Lee wasn't sure either. He messaged us a few times and was like, sorry guys, I was like hopped up on caffeine. I was like really excited and I rambled a lot, but I think that episode was great. And the reason I think it was great is because he was very vulnerable with us about his journey and the things that he overcame and what helped him get through some of those moments and those things, and then what he's doing now to help others so that we don't lose people from our community. Lee has an incredible story. Listen to the podcast, listen to episode 29. He tells his story and what he went through. I was messaging him this week as we were putting out his episode, and his thing to me was, I really shouldn't be here. And the fact that I am here, I'm able to share this journey and to help others. And he really just wants to help others to continue to live and be successful and bring joy to others. So just an incredible person and what he's building with A Hero. And then also, he's a keynote speaker now and trying to help businesses with their leadership based off of the fundamentals that he uses for A Hero. So thoughts from you, Matt?
I completely agree with your overview of the episode. And the one thing that stands out to me is when he talked about one of his post MMA fights that he won, and he's with his camp, I guess, his friends, his trainers and coach and all that. And what should be a crowning achievement and should be something where he's kind of in the pinnacle of his success in that and military career is the time that he said he was at his lowest low and was already thinking about how he was going to end his life. I think can speak to people that have struggled, are currently struggling, and that there is light at the end of this, at the end of the tunnel. And there might not be a more impactful episode that we've had. He goes into great detail in sharing his journey and how he climbed out of the darkness, and just a fantastic human. We're so glad that he is still with us and that he was able to spend time with us, and how he invites others out to A Hero to try to continue to save lives. Another thing that doesn't stop while we're wearing the uniform, that continues having an impact and saving the lives of military members.
You brought up the photo, and when we posted some content for that episode, I used that photo to post that and what he had said in that moment. It's one of those things where there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and just know that there's someone for you to talk to. And whether it's your battle buddies or call or text 988, that's another resource that's out there to help folks. And Lee even talks about it. If you go to the A Hero website, the number on the top is his cell phone number, and he says call him anytime. So there are people out there, to include us, that want to see everyone live and continue to be on this world, because we all have so much to bring to others and to ourselves. My biggest takeaway for him is your story isn't over. Your greatest impact may still be ahead. And I think that's what he embodies every single day, is that his greatest story is still ahead and what he's doing to help others. 3 great episodes in the month of July, all very 3 impactful stories and what all 3 of our guests are doing and are continuing to do. We do have Dog Tags Connect this Thursday, 30 July at 8 p.m. Eastern. Dog Tags Connect. It is a no slides, no agenda, just honest, candid feedback, conversation, discussion about entrepreneurship, and we'll have it linked to our page, and we'll put it out on all of our social media. So if you're interested, reach out. Please join Dog Tags Connect, 30 July at 8 p.m. Eastern. We always have great conversations and great folks that come on just to answer whatever things that you're thinking about in your entrepreneurship journey. And then coming up in August, we have some big things on the horizon. I am going to be going out to West Virginia to do some media. I don't think I've told Matt this yet, but I'm going to be going out to West Virginia. West Virginia just passed a new law in terms of AI and how you can store AI and those things. And there is a organization called Service Alliance, who are trying to build AI products and platforms for the veteran community. And I'm going to go out there in August, out to West Virginia, where I believe the governor and some political appointees are going to be signing some documents for them. And I'm going to do some media and podcasting for that event for them. So super excited about that, and going out to West Virginia and meeting some new folks, because it's my favorite thing to do is to talk to people and get out of the house a little bit. Now that I am in my first month of retirement, what do I do with my hands? So always planning something and doing something. So we have that coming up in August. And then in September, if you're in the Tampa, Florida area, and you want to come out to the craft frontline tasting, it is going to be on September 24th at the downtown Marriott Hotel. And that event is sponsored, hosted by Craft Brewing and Distilling. And we're going to have a ton of different businesses or different alcoholic brands out there, but then also Forces Brands USA. We are also supporting the event with some tables with samples and with non-alcoholic beverages as well. So we will be there doing both podcasting and also from a Forces Brands USA standpoint, and amplifying the voices of our community's businesses to help everyday Americans try it. I'll link those tickets in our show notes. So if you're in that area or you're going to be going down to Tampa for Military Influencer Conference, check out Frontline Tasting. It's that Thursday night event to kick off MIC. And then we will also be, while we're in Tampa, going to the Friday team ADO event, host welcome party that Friday. I'll also put that in the show notes. And also looks like, I think we're going to be partnering with another great organization to provide some swag, some things for that fishing tournament on Saturday. So more to follow on that, but I'll link both of those events into our show notes. And those are the big things that we have coming up over the next few months. So Matt, any final thoughts on our July recap?
No, I was just taking notes for all the things that are coming up, that some of which I'll be attending with you, some of which I will not. And I'll just say, for those watching on YouTube, Julie is not wearing a retiree hat. She's wearing an X-Ray apparel hat, another veteran-owned company, with her Forces Brands polo, newly minted Forces Brands polo. So
that way to segue me right into our Forces Brands USA Business of the Week. So this week's Forces Brands USA Business of the Week is Allegiant Custom Products. So if you are watching on YouTube, Will Martin designed this shirt for us. He printed it, but he owns and operates Allegiant Custom Products. Will Martin is a former U.S. Navy SEAL, and he likes to now call himself the Seamstress SEAL. And Allegiant's Custom Products helps organizations elevate their brands through premium custom apparel, headwear, uniforms, and promotional products, fulfillment, and branded merchandise. But what really sets them apart is their mission-first approach to every client relationship. The company donates 2% of every dollar earned to support difference-making initiatives while focusing on quality, trust, and long-term partnerships. So if you're looking for custom apparel, company swag, event merchandise, or branded products that represent your business with excellence, Allegiance Custom Products is a veteran-owned company that delivers with the same commitment to excellence that defined Will's military service. You can find Allegiance Custom Products and hundreds of other military, veteran, and military-connected businesses on Forces Brands USA. And because it is the Replace One Challenge, purchase something from Forces Brands USA to replace either one everyday product, service, or podcast that you normally use with a military, veteran, or military-connected product. All right, so that brings us to the end of July. And looking back across these 3 episodes, one theme definitely stood out above everything else: purpose. So whether it's Tony building technology that changes lives, Travis creating a platform that lifts others, or Lee showing that healing can become someone else's hope, every guest reminded us that our military service prepared us for much more than wearing a uniform. It prepared us to lead, to build, and to serve again. So thank you for spending part of your week with us. If these stories inspired you, please subscribe, leave us a review, or share this episode with someone who's building their next chapter. Remember to visit forcesbrands-usa.com, the only online marketplace dedicated to military, veteran, and military-connected businesses. And join the hashtag Replace One Challenge by replacing one product, one service, or one podcast this week with one from someone who stood up to serve America. And until next time, keep pushing to turn your dog tags into ownership.
From dog tags to ownership, heroes take the lead. Stories of veterans building trains with passion, drive, and speed. From service to success, we're here to inspire the quest. Dog tags to ownership, we're the best. Take the prize.